Grand Rising, and welcome to another segment of CLG View Point. It's Cindy Lorraine Grais, and it is Friday, March the 7th, 2025. Today's segment, we're going to cover how to start a no-dig garden. And on local news, 25 Canadians, mostly from Quebec, face U.S. charges over $21 million grandparent scam. BC signed $670 million pharmacare agreement. CIBC customers shocked after someone takes out $260,000 mortgage without warning. Comox Valley Farms cut out of school district contract. And closing, the quote of John Lennon. Well, each segment I like to start with a sage stick clearing. This clears away all the little negative energies that like to come around our space and create a little chaos and learning experience. Anyway, we are going to clear them all out, leaving positive energy and divine loving divine lights. To all low energy entities, you are healed. You are forgiven, enlightened, and sent back to your perfect place by my spiritual guides. And so it is. Now we'll start with the first video on how to start a no-dig garden fast.
Low-cost garden that doesn't require any digging. Hi, I'm Valerie with Now Gardening, and today I'm here to show you how to create a no-dig garden in 3 easy steps. And please stay tuned to the end of the video where I will show you 2 vegetables that thrive in a no-dig garden. Now, if you saw my video on using cardboard in the garden, you'll remember that I mentioned using it as the first layer, and that's where we're going to start today, because step number 1 in making a no-dig garden is to put down cardboard. The beauty of a no-dig garden is that we lay the cardboard directly over the grass and weeds. I laid this cardboard about 3 weeks ago, and already the grass and weeds are mostly dead underneath it. Make sure that the size of the cardboard is bigger than the area that you want to plant. For example, here I will leave a border of about 6 inches or about 15 centimeters around the entire area that I'm going to plant. This will create a degree of separation between my garden bed and the weeds and grass that are around it. I give the cardboard a good watering before I start putting the compost on top of it. This is completely optional and is not considered one of the steps of creating the no-dig garden. I just do it to help kind of hold the cardboard down and in place so it doesn't move around as much as I put the compost on. Step number 2 is to add your compost. Here I'm using a ready-to-plant mix that is made for an organic garden. And I want the depth to be around 10 inches or around 25 centimeters. Step number 3 is to smooth out your compost. Here I use a rake to level the compost, leaving a border around the edge to keep the weeds and grass at bay. Once I finished, I lightly pressed it down in order to help it all stay in place. At this point, you can add rocks or wood to help stabilize the soil. This is a completely voluntary step. I'm going to do it because my land is in a slope, and so I want to help stabilize the bed and protect the soil to prevent erosion when it rains. That's it, guys. This no-dig garden is ready to plant. And as promised at the beginning,
No-dig garden. Another easier way to plant vegetables and create a new concept in gardening and less stress on your back. Anyways, on to international. International news. 25 Canadians, mostly from Quebec, face U.S. charges over $21 million grandparent scam by Alessia Simono Marata of Global News, March 6, 2025. 25 Canadians are facing charges in the U.S. in connection to a grandparent scam that defrauded American seniors of $21 million. A release from the U.S. Attorney's Office Tuesday said that 24 people from Quebec, mostly from the Montreal area, and one person from Ontario stole millions from elderly individuals in Vermont and more than 40 other states. According to the unsealed indictment, between the summer of 2021 and June 4, 2024, the suspects engaged in a scam that involved calls where they falsely claimed to be an elderly victim's relative, most often a grandchild, who had been arrested following a car crash and needed bail money. The calls were made from call centers in and around Montreal. Authorities say others posed as lawyers representing the elderly victim's relative and told him there was a gag order in place to prevent the senior from telling anyone about their family member's supposed arrest. The victims were then convinced to hand over the money to an individual who would visit their home falsely, posing as a bail bondsman. Authorities say the funds were then transferred to Canada by cash, delivery, and financial transactions, including via cryptocurrency. Well, the indictment says the use of crypto obscured the source of the money and the identities of the subjects. And the video.
With the evolution of technology, it's made a lot of things easier, but artificial intelligence has also become a tool for criminals.
It's unfortunate that that seniors who may not be as technological literate as other people are seriously going to be affected by new advances in AI and other technologies.
Police say 2 men have been charged with possession of proceeds of crime over $5,000 after they couriered money for the fraudsters who were using AI to mimic the voices of the victims' grandchildren.
What we frequently see is where they involve grandparents and where a grandchild is in some sort of an emergency situation, whether they've been arrested for something or in a car accident and they're in the hospital, need to pay their hospital bills.
Police say they scour social media to find people online, take their voice from certain posts, and then track down who their grandparents are to begin the scam.
They're taking a recording of their voice, if there's a video or any kind of audio on that Facebook webpage or Instagram webpage, and then they're using AI to mimic that individual.
Once the grandparent agrees to pay the phony fees, the criminals plan to hire couriers to pick up the cash.
The ad simply was, go pick up money, keep a little bit of money for yourself, and deposit the money into a bank account, which is controlled by the scammers.
Agencies who work with seniors suggest speaking with other family members to verify the story.
We're just trying to make sure that these grandparents or seniors let it go to ring right to their phone first and listen to the message, and then, involve other family members to listen and make it a team effort.
Justin Sibbett, Global News.
Personal thoughts. This case should be tried under natural law. Crime does not pay. Local news. BC signs $670 million pharmacare agreement with federal government. The Canadian Press, March 6, 2025. The British Columbia and federal governments have signed a 4-year, $670 million pharmacare agreement giving universal access to contraceptive and diabetes medications. The plan will support nearly 550,000 BC residents with diabetes and provide 1.3 million people with a range of contraceptives. The agreement signed Thursday will also mean free public coverage of hormone replacement therapy to treat menopause symptoms, although universal access to the free medications doesn't start until March next year. Federal Health Minister Mark Holland said people talk about the cost of such a plan, but the expense of not giving someone with diabetes the medicine they need could be blindness, loss of limb, or even death. He said women in this country will very soon live in a day when they have complete autonomy over their own bodies. Quote, women being able to have access to reproductive medicines is freedom. Freedom over the decisions what to do with their bodies, whether or not they want to start a family, and it's absolutely critical, close quote, Holland said. The funding agreement will also improve access to diabetes devices and supplies. BC Health Minister Josie Osborne said the rising cost of living can create very difficult choices for people, but no one should have to choose between paying for the medications or paying for groceries. Quote, the cost for diabetes medication for a person living with type 1 diabetes can be as high as $18,300 a year. For those who are living with type 2 diabetes, and can be as much as $10,000 a year. Quote, so thanks to this federal funding, we're going to be able to cover diabetes medication costs for everyone in British Columbia free of charge. Close quote. Personal thoughts. The political officials are to roll out the medbeds under natural law. The funding is there for this new technology. What is the holdup? CIBC customers shocked after someone takes out $260,000 mortgage without warning. Written by Anne Drua of Global News. Posted March the 5th, 2025. A BC woman says she's shocked how someone was able to take out a mortgage and add her name without her permission. Quote, I'm mind-boggled that you can open up a mortgage in a completely different province and not even be present, close quote, Haley Leo told Consumer Matters. The Langley, BC resident says her nightmare began on February the 14th, 2025, when she logged into her CIBC account and discovered some of her personal information had changed. Quote, not my name, but my address, the phone numbers. There were 3 different phone numbers added. The address was changed to Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, close quote, said Leo. Leo says she received no notification or warning from her bank. When she contacted CIBC, she said she was connected to its fraud department, where staff members had frozen her account. After waiting several hours, Leo says CIBC opened a new bank account in her name with reassurance. The issue was resolved. They said everything was corrected and I should be fine to go, said Leo. However, "11 days later, Leo said she had issues again with her CIBC account." And to the video.
Leo says she wants to see better security measures in place after she says her CIBC account information was changed twice without warning. But even more serious, she says someone was able to open and add her name to a mortgage without her permission. Haley Leo says she's been a CIBC customer for over 2 decades, but says nothing could have prepared her for what she recently experienced with her bank. On February 14th, the Langley resident says she logged into her CIBC account and discovered some of her personal information had changed.
Not my name, but the address, the phone numbers. There was 3 different phone numbers added. The address was changed to Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta.
Alarmed, Haley says she never received any warning from her bank.
I didn't get an email, a text message, nothing.
Haley called CIBC immediately, where she was connected to its fraud department. After staff froze her account, Haley says CIBC opened a new bank account in her name with reassurances there was no need to worry.
They said everything was corrected, I should be fine to go.
But it wasn't. 11 days later, Haley says she had issues with her CIBC account again.
I can't log in. Again, no notifications, no calls, no emails, no nothing.
Haley called CIBC where she received shocking news.
They end up telling me that all of the information is changed from the day that I came in originally on the 14th, back to the exact same person, exact same address, except this time they took out a $260,000 mortgage under my name.
And where was that mortgage?
In Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta.
What's going through your mind?
I'm like, I didn't apply for a mortgage. How did this happen?
In an emailed statement, CIBC told Consumer Matters, "We looked into this matter and can confirm no fraud or identity theft occurred. This was a processing issue, limited to a single account, which we are working to resolve." Consumer Matters took it upon ourselves to call the number listed on Haley Leo's bank account. And the person who answered the phone told us her name was also Haley Leo, who confirmed to us she lives in Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta.
And your full name is Haley Leo?
Yeah.
She also told us she's been dealing with similar issues with CIBC regarding an account with a mortgage that she says was initially shut down.
I wish they could give me an explanation. They're just shutting down the account. That's all they explained it as. They told me that it was fraud.
Some cybercrime consultants say CIBC's response to this case does little for consumer confidence.
The bank does not realize that such a statement only creates more questions. It answers no questions at all, and it will serve to worry and to raise concern amongst other customers at the very least.
Haley says she's been told by CIBC an investigation is underway. Still, she says she's lost trust in CIBC and has taken her business elsewhere, moving her funds to another competitor.
My biggest thing right now is security. Is all of our information protected?
And cybercrime experts also recommend consumers who have their banking information compromised should act swiftly and not wait for investigation to take place from the bank, because it could take weeks or months. It's suggested you contact the Ombudsman for Banking Services and Investments, the Office of the Privacy Commissioner of Canada, and the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada. Also, it's a good idea to get a signed statement from the bank to clear your name to ensure your credit rating is in good standing. And if you have a consumer issue for me, you can always email me at consumermatters@globalnews.ca. Sophie.
Personal thoughts. Insufficiencies, mismanagement, and lack of security. Last week, a gentleman lost $750,000 as CIBC didn't make sure that the transfer of these funds for GICs actually went to a credible investment agency. He lost $750,000 because it was a scam. And now a mortgage taken out on a client that has no agreement with his transaction. That's fraud. A full forensic audit on CIBC under natural law. Comox Valley Farms cut out of school district contract. Check News, written by Dean Stoltz, March the 5th, 2025. Comox Valley Schools has opted out to renew a contract with local nonprofit Lush Valley that provided food boxes to 300 local families. I mean, it's unfortunate that they're kind of bearing the brunt of it, but our priority is feeding students as cheaply and efficiently as we can and spreading that money as far as we can, said Thea Cockerton, Food Service Coordinator for SD71. Lush Valley was supporting 300 households a month. Yes, a month, with boxes containing eggs, fruit, vegetables. from local farms. They were sent to family homes. That seems to be where the issue was with SD71. Now, Czech News was invited to a local elementary school Wednesday. And here's the video.
It's seeding season here at Amara Farms in the Comox Valley, where they grow blueberries and 40 other fruits and vegetables. But they're already worried about the year ahead after School District 71 canceled a contract to buy from local farmers.
You know, this is in the tens of thousands of dollars of impact just for our farm alone. And we know that there are at least 30 other farms that are also being impacted.
The local farms contribute to food boxes like these that are put together by the nonprofit Lush Valley in Courtenay that had a $160,000 contract with the school district to provide healthy meals for kids. They found out in January that the contract wasn't being renewed.
We want to stay in good standing with the school district. We have other programs that we run with the school district, but obviously, you know, this was a disappointment and had an impact on the families and also on the farmers.
Lush Valley was supporting 300 households a month with boxes going to the home, and that seems to be where the issue was with SD71. We were invited to a local elementary school today where a pilot project is underway feeding children directly at school.
Like, this is directly helping students. It is impacting students on a day-to-day basis, and it's impacting every student in the district because every student has access to food, whereas the Good Food Boxes, we're supporting 300 families once a month.
She says suppliers must provide BC-grown food, but acknowledges local farmers are being cut out.
I mean, it's unfortunate that they're kind of bearing the brunt of it, but our priority is to feeding students as cheaply and as efficiently as we can and spreading that money as far as we can.
Still, some say Lush Valley shouldn't be cut out.
I think that it makes total sense for us to be giving those contracts to an organization that's nonprofit, that's grassroots, that's been around for 20 years, and that's doing the amazing work of dealing with the food security issues here.
Lush Valley says people can still help local growers.
With the loss of the contract from the school district, we are really looking to ask people to purchase local and purchase Good Food Boxes.
And that can be done by going to the Lush Valley website.
My personal thoughts. The school district takes away a well-needed healthy food program supplied by local farmers that are homegrown, and instead buys from the big chain grocery stores and not support local farmers. Do you think that this is fair and ethical? Under natural law, there is funding for local farmers to supply free food to people of need, and especially our VIPs, the children. Shame, shame, shame on the political officials for not following through on what is stipulated under natural law. I am Cindy Lorraine Grais of CLG View Point, and thank you again so much from the bottom of my heart for you being here today. Now, today's words of wisdom is John Lennon. Enjoy. And see you on Monday, March the 10th, 2025. Have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Until we meet again.